Hello Gemini, welcome to your reading for December 2020. Welcome to my channel, Baby Doll Magic Tarot. If you're a subscriber, welcome back and thank you so much. So Gemini, I use astrology in these readings too. I'll go through the important astrological transits coming up in December, the month ahead, and how that will relate to your sign. If you know your rising sign, definitely check out the video for that for December 2020 once it's out, because the astrology I use in this video is going to be more applicable to the rising sign position. So Gemini rising, there's going to be plenty of information in this for you, as well as tarot cards for the Geminis watching, all Gemini placements. So what I'm going to do is I'll structure the reading by pulling a few cards for very recent past energies. Then we'll look at your current energies directly around you right now, Gemini, for whenever you tune into this video. And then we'll look at the immediate future, what's coming up towards the end of December into the new year 2021. Then we'll close off the reading by asking for a message from the universe, from your highest self, for me to deliver to you, Gemini, as well as where I want Gemini to direct their focus, whatever comes through on the cards, for me to deliver to you. That's what I'll be telling you. All right, Gemini, so bear with me. I'll shuffle just for another moment, lay out these cards, and what we'll do is we'll lay out 3, 3, 3, and then we'll clarify them as we need to, okay? So for the past, we've got the King of Pentacles in reverse, the Eight of Cups in reverse, and the Three of Swords in reverse. Okay, let's look at the coming up into the immediate future for Gemini. Oh, this is interesting to me, Gemini. You're moving away from something, or you just have. Something has ended for you recently. And we're getting over the hurt of that now, which is good. All right, let's pull for the coming up right now. What does Gemini have surrounding them now, presently? Ten of Swords, Sun and Gemini with that card. Eight of Pentacles. Four of Swords. Okay, now this ending might not have been totally easy for all of you, okay, but we're working on it, We'll go deeper into all of these cards too, of course. Let me just get them laid out for you first. Future for Gemini, end of December going into January, the new year for Gemini. The Moon card. We'll talk about these eclipses coming up in your sign, Gemini. 10 of Wands in reverse. 8 of Wands in reverse. I know travel is going to be pretty big for Gemini coming up in the new year, okay, so we're going to go into that. Okay, let's get into these cards, you guys. So a couple of astrological transits that I think would be important to mention before we kick off is going to be the eclipses that are happening. We're in eclipse season. They're falling between Gemini and Sagittarius, your sister sign, so that's the axis we have our eclipses in at the moment. As well as that, Saturn, we have Saturn and Sagittarius here, and we have Saturn moving into the sign of Aquarius, okay. For Gemini rising, that's moving from your 8th house of shared resources into your house of travel and learning, foreign languages, foreign cultures, foreign places, different cultures, different beliefs, different opinions, things like that. Solar eclipse happening in your sister sign of Sagittarius. For Gemini rising, 7th house of relationships. So we don't want to be planting any negative seeds in our relationships around this time, as that's what's going to be growing. So we want to keep our thoughts and intentions around relationships and who we are, how we present ourselves, really pure at the moment, Gemini. Okay, let's get into these cards. So this is an earth sign. King of Pentacles is Taurus. Some of you, I just did a reading for Gemini and I saw Taurus in that reading too. Check that out on my page. It's just a couple of days old. I saw that there was some tension with the Taurus. I won't go into that too much because I don't want this to be not applicable to everybody, but there was an earth sign in your life. I think that there was some sort of a moving away from. 8 of Cups is when we left a loving relationship. All those cups were once filled with love. I can see that they're spilling out. Whatever was in those cups now, it's not been held anymore. It's spilling down. So all the cups represent our love and our happiness and our emotions. So all of these things, we're not able to hold them at the moment with this person. With this person, it was pretty stable, pretty secure. So we thought, it could have been somebody that was older than us. It could have been somebody that was much more mature than us, maybe even more financially stable than us. Somebody that we thought we were, they brought out a side to us that we thought we enjoyed. Like we saw them being more committed, and we thought that could be something I should work work on more. Whatever it was, this person at one point in your life gave you exactly what you needed, Gemini. A sense of security, a sense of stability, or at least introducing those themes to you and like what your relationship is. It's all individual, Gemini. This person in your life, it was a lesson, because I can see it's not happening anymore. It's over. But it was a lesson in a way, Gemini, for you to identify what your relationship with stability is and security is, because people come and go, but we're with ourselves forever. So people we meet along the way, when they don't work out like this, it can be a lesson. This King of Swords is following me. It was in your last reading too, at the bottom of the deck, the exact same place. And what I saw was like this strictness around you, Gemini. This is in my last reading too, so I don't want to go too much into it, but obviously this like whatever pressure is on you, Gemini, it's strict, it's harsh, and I don't know what that is following you, really. But anyways, with this reading, but I recommend checking out my other reading if it's ringing a bell, some strictness and disciplinarian action around you. Check that video out, might make sense. Eight of Cups is moving on from something that we once loved, but we've had to leave it behind. And if you look closely at both of these images, they're eclipses. They're not just a regular moon, okay? This is, we see the sun moving over the moon here, okay? It's an eclipse. So this eclipse coming up for you, I think relationships have definitely ended for Gemini recently, okay? We've got this eclipse happening on the 14th of December in Gemini's rising 7th house of relationships. So it could be either an ending, but I think there has been an ending of a relationship taking place, Gemini. But if not, it's a new beginning. So seeds been planted, potentially to meet somebody. That's coming up in the future with travel. I will get to that. Okay, so this was hard, okay? This was heartbreaking. There might have been a betrayal. The swords are falling out of the heart now. It was pierced very much for you. It was extremely hurtful, but it's easing its way out now, Gemini, and it has been. You're beginning to come to terms with it. Those swords are falling out of the heart now. They're not piercing as intensely. The feelings are still there, but you're coming up to ending them. Immediate future, right now, Gemini, 10 of Swords. This is the sun in Gemini. We can see that there is some light breaking in the back. This is like a harsher card to look at, 10 swords sticking into you, but this person is reaching out on the phone. They're saying, I need your help. I need to get over this. But something has ended in a really big way for Gemini recently. It mightn't be this relationship. It could be something else. It could have been a job, because I see we're focusing on work again. So a job might have ended, or something slipped through the cracks. We weren't able to, it didn't come to completion. Could have been a bit of a disaster for some of us, actually. Some of us, yeah, I'm not going to lie, this 10 of Swords can be a bit of a disaster or a breaking point or a personal crisis in our life that we're facing presently, Gemini, okay? This is really positive as how we're going to get out of it. And I'm going to pull another card just to clarify all of these. But we've reached a breaking point presently, Gemini, and we can't take any more. We can't do any more. Something is ruined for us. It's leaving us potentially feeling stressed out, feeling like that was a complete waste of time. It was just all for nothing. But we're not defeated. No, we're still going for something, Gemini. We're not giving up yet. Working hard on working on ourselves and working on our peace of mind. So this Four of Swords is a brief respite. So in the Swords cards, they kind of have a reputation for being harder to deal with, the swords, because there are mental suits and our triggers and our stresses. They're generally not like super pleasant. But when the four comes along, it's like in the swords suit, I see this glimmer of hope. It's like this break for Gemini, okay? It's like this mental respite. You get to breathe, you get to reflect. Well, this person actually looks still quite worried. They still look like stressed out. So I know that this is something still around you. I'm not going to say it's all done and dusted with. There is some stuff you need to work through still. And I see that with these two cards, working through things, working through your problems, working through the issues that have been probably presented by whatever it was. And if it wasn't a relationship that you walked away from recently, or there was a betrayal in and it had to end because of that, you walked away from something in your life, some area of your life that wasn't fulfilling to you anymore, but once really was a source of stability and structure for you in your life, but it no longer It no longer was, for whatever reason. Four of Swords, yeah, I'm getting a bit of a break from this tension right now, this month. I'm starting to ease my way out of things, but I think that's going to come with working with somebody insofar as this, working alongside maybe a counselor, a therapist even, or just like throwing yourself into work as a way to kind of combat the stress of, or not the stress, but like the feeling of defeatedness. I just don't want you feeling like this was a waste of time, Gemini, which I know some of you are feeling like this is such a waste of time. 10 of Swords, like what the hell was that all for? Because I don't want you to feel like that, because of course it was a lesson. I know, yeah, like everything is a lesson, right? Good and bad, but it's like you're throwing yourself back into work again to distract yourself from something, some of you. And then some of you are throwing yourself into actually doing the work on yourself, which is great. Okay, coming up near future, immediate future. Yes, we've got this eclipse happening December 14th, the moon card, as well as that, the moon card. And is this my only major arcana card here? Yes, it is. So it's telling me, Gemini, this came up as the only major arcana card in your sister sign, Sagittarius too, who I just read for. And you guys are the ones sharing these eclipses on your axis, the Sagittarius Gemini axis. So I know you guys are going to be impacted by these eclipses more. So we're sowing seeds, or we're planting seeds now, Gemini. November 30th, important date for Gemini. December 14th, important date for Gemini, okay? Because that's the day of these eclipses. Figure out where Sagittarius is in your chart, Gemini. That's where this eclipse on December 14th is falling. That's the house, or that's the area of life that's going to be illuminated for you. You might see new beginnings there. You might see endings. For Gemini rising, it's house of relationship, romantic relationships and business partnerships, new beginnings, endings in those areas of your life, Gemini, with these eclipses. But this moon card is telling me that for some of you, Gemini, you're in a phase of your life right now where things are quite unknown to you. It's a safe assumption to make in the year of 2020. But the moon card, it is, I'm going to say it anyway, it's worth hearing because it's the only major card here. It's telling me what the lesson of the month is, and it's to trust in the unknown. We don't know what's happening next. That's okay. Your soul path knows. If you believe in destiny, well, you're headed there anyway. Things are going to come up along the way, yes. But the soul, it's trusting in the universe with the moon card. This is the card for Pisces. And Pisces have this knack, or this ability somehow, just to trust innately in the universe what's meant to be. They kind of deal well in the moon energy. They kind of are able to swim through the unknown. They're a different realm of people anyway, a different kettle of fish, and they're comfortable in another realm, basically in another world. And that's what this moon card is. It's otherworldly. It's can be jarring. It can be like when we wake up from a nightmare and we just have that high intense panic, but it's also excitement. It's like a thrill. It's like that's this chaos of the moon, like things not being known to us. So Gemini, before I ramble on about the moon card, this is just coming up as an indication to you at the moment that yes, you feel like things are spiraling, you don't know what's next, things are feeling pretty unknown to you, you haven't got everything clear, things are being hidden from you, you're not seeing everything clearly. It's just an invitation for you to trust in the universe a little bit more, even though it's uncomfortable. Trust that your soul knows what's happening and your soul is growing through this, and you just got to be trustful. Why I see, okay, so travel is coming up for for Gemini, but we've got this, we've got the eclipses, which will be fueling change. And then Gemini, for Gemini rising, this Saturn is making his pass into the sign of Aquarius in December, okay? For Gemini rising, it's like travel and foreign countries are going to be a pretty big theme for the beginning of 2021. At the start of 2021, for Gemini rising, I'm seeing like a lot of travel coming up, a lot of having to talk to people from foreign countries, different cultures to your own, and that's going to be with Saturn and Jupiter in the sign of Aquarius in Gemini rising's 9th house. Let me just clarify this walking away in the past, walking away from something stable, having to leave behind. Maybe there was a betrayal, but I just want to finish this off with one more card to clarify. 2 of Wands, bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands. So something that was very stable before, a happy home, a stable company, something like a really stable job, something changed, you had to walk away from it. It was like a matter of soul searching. And for some of you, it was just that, like, if it was a relationship, I'm attracted to somebody else. Or if it was like getting yourself back into the world, I want to take a chance on something else again. Like, I'm sick of I'm sick of waiting for something to happen to me. I need to get myself out in the world and take this chance. And you felt like this person was holding you back from doing that. And that's potentially why the relationship ended. Or you walked away from a very stable company or stable job, something very stable, something very steady. And Queen of Pentacles coming out here now. For some, this stable job, it could have been a marriage even, you know, it was that stable, it was that secure. It was a King of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, a marriage of a very power couple that once was. Or, you know, you might have really respected your boss or your manager, but for some reason you stepped away from this company because you felt there was something more in alignment to you, basically. Let's look at the 10 of Swords, 8 of Pentacles, 4 of Swords, and clarify that. Something came to an end, something disastrous for some. You're picking up the pieces now, you're working through things. All right, card to clarify the present, please. I see you here as 10 of Swords. That's the Sun in Gemini. 2 of Swords. So a decision, okay, all right. So something came to an end. We might be faced with a decision. That's what we're needing to meditate on. 4 of Swords, 2 of Swords, still figuring out something we're pretty indecisive around. So Gemini, that's coming up for me. Like, you're still thinking things through very much. You're worrying how your choices are going to be impacting others. You're worried about, maybe that's what this conflict I see coming up, or just like you're potentially, for some Gemini, you're not really ready to talk about everything to other people. You're holding things back from other people. You're doing things behind the scenes that other people don't know about, if that's talking to any of you. Gemini, you're working on stuff behind the scenes, and the reason you're not telling people about it yet is because of this situation. Basically, things are still hidden. You want to keep things hidden, maybe because some of you are just shouldering it all on your own for some reason, or maybe you just know that people aren't going to be down with that, and there's going to be some sort of a conflict about the decision that you're making, and you're just not ready to address it yet. Okay, let me keep going without those cards. Okay, so let's look at the Moon card being the biggest card here. For me, it's the major arcana here. So I've got the Moon, we're in this unknown. So we're going into an unknown even, Gemini, and that's how this reading is ending, with things not being 100% clear to you yet, but that's okay. It's all about that trusting in the universe again. Let's clarify the Moon card. The Ace of Swords in reverse, and this is like a lack of clarity. Basically, when the Ace of Swords is upright, we get this insight. It's like this flash, lightning hits, we can see everything clearly, we just have this razor sharp insight. But when it reverses, yeah, there is a lack of clarity, and I see just you not knowing what's happening next at the end of this reading. I don't want to leave it at that. I want to look at these two reversals, because it looks like there's going to be like a lot of travel versus a lot of disruption to travel, a lot of overwhelm. And on top of not knowing what's coming next or what's happening next, that might be unpleasant. So let's like try and mitigate that by pulling another card and just clarifying, what can we do to mitigate basically this confusion or this disruption around travel and our movements? Whatever we're moving towards is like some sort of a break. There's something coming up that's going to be like a bit of a burden for you to carry towards the end of the month, Gemini, I'm seeing. Two of Pentacles, it might be a way up, more decision making. Great. You're like, great. More decisions to make, more tough decisions. Whatever the decision you land on here, it's going to set you up for something better, something bigger and better, something that's going to grow. This is Jupiter in Capricorn, so we'll be expanding Capricorn in our structures. We'll be expanding around us. It's good. It's good. It's just going to be more indecision for you, Gemini. And it's not ideal when things are very unclear for you towards the end of the month. Just trust. The Moon card is just, again, reminding, it's the only major card that's coming out here so far. So it is just an invitation to trust in the unknown. As uncomfortable as it is at the moment, you're feeling it's uncomfortable. It's like, it's too quick, it's too slow, it's too overbearing. It's not a comfortable row I've got here exactly, but I know soul's growing, okay? Jupiter in Capricorn, Jupiter will be moving in with Saturn in December to the sign of Aquarius. That's good. Jupiter, we want Jupiter with Saturn, because Saturn is all about limits and delays and blocks. And Jupiter's the opposite. It's saying yes to everything. It's expansion, it's growing, it's getting bigger. So they're different energies for sure, but they also balance each other out nicely. So we've got the luxury. This happens very, very rarely. Every 20 years we'll have the luxury of these two planets arriving in a sign together. So usually when Saturn arrives into a sign, it's saying, you'll look at your birth chart and Saturn moves into Aquarius in December. So picture your birth chart, a wheel. You'll look at where Aquarius is, and that's where Saturn's moving into. And you'll say, oh, that's my 6th house. Well, Saturn going into my 6th house, I might start to have to feel lessons or challenges in and around my 6th house topics in life, such as my day-to-day routine, my colleagues, my co-workers, my personal health. But then Jupiter's there at the same time, so I know it's not going to be all bad. There's going to be growth and there too. So it's like this constructive energy, both of these planets together. It's not just, Jupiter when it moves into a sign will be completely buoyant. But then if Saturn's with it, it's going to limit it slightly. It's going to eliminate, it's going to make Jupiter's effects slightly more constructive, more lessons. They won't just be, you're not just going to win the lotto. You'll have to work really hard for that windfall of money. Themes like that. Those energies are very different, but together they can be very constructive, okay? Let's look at another deck, actually. So I want to close off this reading with a couple of messages from the universe to you, Gemini. So let's look through your sister sign of Sagittarius. And I'm sorry if I've called you Sagittarius at all during this video. I'm really not intentional. I'm thinking of these eclipses. I'm thinking of your sister sign. But this is for Gemini. Where does Gemini need to focus extra over the next 12 months from this Sag season to the next? And we'll just pick one card now for Gemini. Five of Wands. Keeping up with the competition, Gemini, striving for better, taking action, putting in effort, putting in the work. This Five of Wands, it's tiring, this work. It's tiring, but it's rewarding. You're going through a phase, I think over the next 12 months, Gemini, where in terms of how you handle competition, how you handle tension in your life, do you shy away from it? Do you avoid it at all costs? Does competition put you off? Does it just say, no, I'd rather they handle that? Or does it inspire you? Does it motivate you? Does it make you eager to achieve more? I think that's what we're going to have to do, Sagittarius. We're going to have to think of our long-term motivations. When I see this card for you now, for Gemini, we're going to have to think of what is our long-term goal, and how are we going to show up to that? How are we going to keep fighting towards that? Are we going to shy away from our long-term goals, or are we willing to keep up that intense effort around that? Next thing and last card, which I'll close this reading out for you. So Sagittarius is connected to the highest self, okay? It's where, okay, so now I want to pick a card for Gemini through the lens of Sagittarius, insofar as what is the message for Gemini now from Gemini's highest self? A message from Gemini's highest self to them. One card for that, please. And I think this is a really important message to come through. What does Gemini's highest self have for them right now? If they were sitting here beside them, what would they tell Gemini? The Ten of Cups. This is such a beautiful card, Gemini. This is, look at these colors. I just imagine your brain channels lighting up with these beautiful colors. It's like this radiating love and happiness around you, and the colors are just overflowing. They're exploding. They're merging together in just this creative joy. It's beautiful energy to see. It's one of the most happiest cards in the deck. This is, however, reversed. So Gemini, the universe or your highest self is telling you that happiness, love, radiating good vibes are all around you, but there's a block in accessing it for you currently. I see that. I see you're still overcoming some hardship that's been ended and walked away from. So yeah, of course I get that. But the universe is telling you that you can still access it. I have one card at the bottom of the deck, which I might just throw in as a how to access it. Four of Pentacles, and I see these colors here too. It's like similar, almost like these color streams attaching to each other. It reminds me of like brain channels or whatever. It's like a connectivity. Four of Pentacles can be just that we have closed off our heart space and we're not opening up to love because we've been hurt, or for various other reasons, because we're working on ourselves, whatever the reason is in our life at the moment, Gemini, that we've decided to just put a bit of a block around this chakra. Yeah, I think that's all it is. It's just opening up again to the opportunity for love when you're ready. That's what's there for you. The universe is telling you it's there for you, that happiness is all around you. Might just be a change of perspective, Gemini. That's all that's required. This lack of clarity at the end of the month, I guess just, you know, try and meditate through that on whatever's coming up for you. It could be travel plans going awry is what I'm seeing. I see like these reversals here. It looks like there could be some sort of a snag in your, and I see a motorbike here actually. Just you know, be mindful when you're driving, when you are on the roads at this time. Just be careful around that, okay? That's just take extra care, take extra caution. All right, Gemini, that's going to be your reading. Now for December 2020, there was a quick little reading I mentioned there just a couple of days ago. I put up Celtic crossbred, less about the astrology, just on the cards, but that's everything that's coming through for me now for you, Gemini. So have a good end of the month, end of 2020.